You know, Sam, the thing I enjoy the most about doing the fuel lines is I get to watch you work.
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. On this episode of Sam's Garage, Sam and the Lokar boys install new front and rear coilovers on the Jeep Wrangler. Doug assists Sam by running new fuel lines and filter on the Thunderbird. Action Off Road swings by the garage to install new front bumper and winch, as well as windshield and roof on a Can-Am side-by-side off-road vehicle. The Lokar team helps Sam install massive new front and rear coilovers from Rebel Off-Road Recon on the Jeep Wrangler. Each coilover has a high-speed external gas tube to help with ride control. The new coilovers are also adjustable and will provide an additional 4 inches of lift.
All right, this week is the exciting week because we get to put on our King Coilover suspension with new hardware along with bump stops. A little bit of modification in this case, but we get to put the Jeep back on the ground on its wheels and see what everything looks like together.
Yeah, unfortunately, we still got to go with the 37s because we don't have the 8-lug axles yet.
Yep.
But next time.
Or the bumpers.
Or the bumpers.
Eventually we'll get there. All right, so Kevin had this nice tube powder coated, all right? So there's always gonna be some material left behind that you're gonna have to clean up to put your hardware through, like we're doing right now. Okay, try that.
So also keep in mind, sometimes manufacturing processes can leave you with a little struggle to get bolts and clearances because things move in welding fixtures.
We've already pre-assembled our bump stop. This tube goes inside the carrier. The carrier gets bolted up into the old factory bump stops location. There was a little powder coat in there. It's a very tight fit. We sanded it out and got it in there nice and snug. There you go. And when you're doing something like this, you always want to put on your hardware loose. We got 3 bolts here. We got 1 bolt on the side and 1 bolt on the frame. Get all your hardware in before you tighten anything down. All right, so coilovers are gonna be noisy, that's just the nature of the beast. But there is something you guys can do to make these a little bit quieter.
Yeah, AGM makes this nice product. It's got some aluminum outer sleeves with a Delrin inner. And you can see this is a 1-piece urethane piece that keeps the 2 springs separated. This one allows them to twist a little bit and they won't squeak as they ride on here.
So the back brackets that we have to install, you want to make sure to leave them loose because when you tighten it, it's going to pinch the area of where the shock lives, and it's going to be real hard to get this inside the space it's supposed to live in. So keep the upper bolt loose, put the shock in, and tighten both of them at the same time. Well, that was a lot of work, but well worth it. Thank you, Travis and Kevin. This is really cool. I think you're going to like it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to get the big axles under there so we can get the 40s on there and, you know,
That's
get
gonna
it
be
wheeling.
nice. We got the axles coming in, Travis. We're gonna have to do those on the ground, so I'll make sure to help you a lot when that day comes.
I do appreciate it. One thing I did notice on the Jeep is this is a massive lift, but all the brake cables and everything, they allowed a lot of travel.
They did.
Even stock,
From the stock, they did.
Yeah.
You didn't have to modify anything. Usually you have to do that for like a 3-inch lift.
100%.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So catch us next week when we bring in the Camaro, 69 Camaro. We're gonna add some Lokar parts to it while we wait for our axles. Are we?
Yeah, we can't wait for any, you know, drastic row.
Exactly. Supply chain.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. While Sam and Doug wait for parts to arrive, they install the brake booster, run the fuel lines, and mount the fuel filter for the 57 Thunderbird. Once the fuel lines are completed, they'll be ready to install the custom-made gas tank.
All right, so this week, Doug and I are gonna get ahead of the game by installing some components. We're still waiting on some things. We have to make a new fuel tank, but I got a fuel system from Holley. I have the hydraulics from American Powertrain and the brake booster from Jamco. We're gonna install these because we got a supply chain problem.
Yeah, the supply chains, we're like everybody else. We're waiting on parts, so we're going to do on our build what we can do, what we can get done for you guys today. But, you know, we're having issues as well.
Yeah, you don't wanna put the build on the back burner until you get all the parts, you know?
Well, how do I agree? Let's just get after what we can do.
These push-to-lock hose ends are really nice. They make it very easy. They push on. They're nice and clean. They're barbed. They'll never come off. That's a nice way to go, and they save you a little bit of money as well.
Just want to do a real quick tech tip on drilling holes. Drilling holes is something that somebody thinks is going to be real easy or real fast to do, but what's real important when you're drilling a hole is, first thing, if you have a hole you want to do, you either want to use a transfer punch or a center punch just to go ahead and line where your hole is. Then you want to use a smaller drill first to go ahead and pilot your hole, and then if it's a larger hole, then use larger drills and step it out. You'll find it goes a lot faster and it's a lot less effort.
I'm gonna put this filter on. There's a ground strap right here, okay? Because we drilled and tapped, we are in bare metal, so the ground's gonna transfer through my hardware. In your case, if you're not gonna do that, scrape off the paint, because this is to prevent static electricity. It makes everything a lot safer. So we got the fuel system run, we got the filter in place. All we gotta do is make a tank, run 2 lines to it. Next, we're gonna do the brake booster and the hydraulics. Get a little ahead of the game while we're waiting for the other parts to arrive. Forrest did a very awesome job fabricating a brand new aluminum fuel tank, baffled on the inside, ready to go, contours with the frame of the Thunderbird, and it's gonna hold almost 20 gallons of fuel.
Well, that's great. This way I won't run out of gas.
Absolutely. So now what we do is we have ground for the fuel pump and the sending unit on the tank itself. That way I have a positive for the sending unit and a positive wire for the fuel pump. Right here where it bolts up to the frame, we're gonna scrape off both sides of one tab, scrape off the frame, and that's gonna give us our ground point. The brake booster fits. We had to scrape a little bit off the body, no problem. I chased the threads, so we're good to go there. We will have to re-engineer the clutch pedal. The full pedal assembly is not going to fit, but the second piece, the Willwood Master Universal that American Powertrain sent us, will fit with a little bit of ingenuity. So now I'm going to put in the Master. You're going to thread the bolts, and we're going to bolt it up. There you go. It may not be as cool, but it's going to work just fine. The fuel rail's transferred over, the fuel line's there, it clears the hood.
You know, Sam, I'm still not convinced. If we didn't just go ahead and cut that off, we glue it on here, it sure would look cool.
If we use good glue and you don't run any boost, we should be good. We just won't tell anybody.
We would.
That master cylinder worked out great. It cocked it just enough to clear the motor. The battery used to live there. The battery's going to be now relocated to the trunk. We will have to do some modifications to the clutch pedal.
You know, we will, but you know, Sam, this is one of the easier things that we've done on the car. I'm really glad it fit.
Absolutely, because a lot of other stuff just hasn't. Check out my good client 67 GTO. This thing's rocking a 461 cubic inch engine, and it's gonna make a lot of horsepower. So I went to Pipes Exhaust and I got 2.5 inch mandrel bent stainless steel exhaust. 2.5 inches good up to 650 horsepower. After that, you can go to a 3 inch. Now this is full mandrel bent. The mufflers have different levels of sound. If you want to be aggressive, you can do that. If you want to be subtle, you can do that as well. But when you guys are building a project like this, you want longevity out of your investment. And that's what Pipes is all about. Stainless steel construction, chrome tips, even over the axles, there isn't a single wrinkle. You got the X-Pipe for that sound that you guys are all looking for. And if you guys mention Sam's Garage, you'll get free shipping. So when you guys are building your next project, make sure to check out Pipes Exhaust because they've got the system for your car.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Action Off-Road stops by Sam's Garage to help trick out a Can-Am side-by-side. They're mounting and wiring up a new winch to get ready for the trails. Included is a new front bumper that'll also help provide some protection for the radiator.
We've done a lot of projects here on Sam's Garage. This season, we got something new and fresh for you guys, which is a Can-Am side-by-side. ActionOffroad.com sells a slew of parts for all you side-by-side guys. I've got Santo and James, who are two top mechanics that work on these side-by-sides every day. We're going to show you guys how to install all the accessories on this vehicle. We're going to show you tips on maintenance. We're going to show you how to install tires on your bead locks. These two are professionals.
So we own DeRisi Power Sports up in Shelby, North Carolina. Yeah, we do a lot of preps for a lot of different people, you know, and we've been getting a lot more into the recreational things, prepping and building things for people that go to Hatfield McCoy and stuff like that. We actually take customers' machines over to races and to the play events and stuff like that.
We actually do both too. We actually do go to the race too and help out.
Yeah, so you guys are racing as well. Yep. That's awesome, because you know, you guys being professionals, the novice may be in a bind sometime and come to you guys, and you guys can help them out just by answering a simple question that they may not have the answer to.
These things need computers to work on, unfortunately, and most people don't have access to that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So. Well, that is very cool, Santo. That is 23 years you've been doing this. That's absolutely impressive.
Yep, you gotta love what you do.
So we're gonna be taking this Can-Am, we're gonna build it from what you see to a trail-ready rig. We're gonna show you tips and tricks on what you guys need to do at home, and we're gonna give you some maintenance tips. All right, so to be trail ready, your side-by-side is gonna have to have a winch. After seeing these guys with their videos, without a winch and a couple of friends, you're not getting out of the woods. So we're gonna do a new front bumper that's got a place to house our winch and wire everything up. All right, so anytime you guys are doing a big job on your vehicle, whether it be a side-by-side or your car or whatever you're working on, get the stuff out of your way. This is a brand new rig. We don't want to scratch anything up, break anything. We don't want to be binding ourselves, cutting up our arms. So just remove everything, takes a little bit longer. That way the whole job as a whole will be shorter. So we got the front end off. We're gonna put the bumper in place that houses the winch. The radiator is moved out of the way. Be careful when you're using bungee cords anytime, because that hook can come out and get your eyeball. Now, we're gonna put on the new bracket with the winch, and we're gonna wire everything up.
All right, so another nice feature of having a bumper on here is when you guys are in mud holes and whatnot, the bumper actually deflects a lot of the mud off of the radiator. So that way the bottom half will get clogged up.
All right, so once the guys are done installing the radiator back in its factory location, we are going to then run the wires to the winch, and after that, we'll put the front end back on.
All right, so right now we're going to remove the upper dash panels. So we're gonna run their wiring to the winch and also speakers. So we're gonna leave these off for a while. You can do it without it, but it's a lot harder to do it with them on.
We have to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to finish up our wiring for the winch, and we're going to continue on with our new windshield roof and more wiring on the inside.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. The guys from Action Off Road are back to help wrap up the wiring for the new front-mounted winch. All the wiring is securely installed to make sure nothing comes loose while out on the trails. The guys also install a new front windshield and rooftop.
All right, welcome back. We've already got the seat out. We got the battery exposed. We're going to continue on with the wiring harness for both the winch and the accessories on the inside. So let's get started.
All right, so a quick tech tip for seat adjustment. Can-Ams come with 2 adjustments primarily. You can raise and lower the seat and also adjust the angle of it by changing spacers in the back. You can raise or lower the seat by using these guys. Also, you can easily extract the seat if you put the front, take the bolts out, and just use pins with cotter keys holding it in.
What we're doing here is we're putting on our accessories on the windshield. Now the windshield is made out of Lexan. You have to peel off the protective film first before you screw any accessories onto your windshield. And be very careful, this is a very expensive piece of Lexan. Don't scratch it, be careful.
All right guys, we got the main power hooked up for the winch now, and we ran all the main power to this bus bar right here. We're also going to run a separate fuse panel. And this is going to give us the option to basically turn off all the accessories or turn them on, and they're going to be organized by fuse instead of having a bunch of inline fuses. We're going to put this bad boy right here, and we'll show you how it's done. All right guys, we have our fuse bus bar installed now. This is where we're going to hook all of our accessories to. That way we can turn this guy off with this switch right here. So we got off power, on power. Also, we're going to have all our wires going through this area on the back firewall. When we do this, we're going to mount it all with zip ties and make sure it's all secure so it don't flop around. When you do this, make sure you don't drill through the back of the firewall and hit any exposed wires or anything else important, fuel line, anything like that.
Man, that combination looks so good and it's functional. Got a new steel bumper, winch, 3,000 pounds. Look at this thing. How many impacts do you think this would handle?
One good one, and it'd be folded like a marshmallow.
Absolutely, Santo. That windshield and roof really made this thing look awesome.
Yeah, it looks real slick. It just flows really nice. I think it complemented the car really good.
And
totally functional.
Yes.
Now, when you guys are doing this in your Can-Am or side-by-side, make sure to take the time to put the weather stripping in the correct places so that you have zero vibration, reduce that noise, you have a nice installation, and you'll enjoy that much more. If you guys want to buy any of these parts for your side-by-side, make sure to check out actionoffroad.com.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Sam's Garage. The Jeep Wrangler suspension lift is now completed. Doug's Thunderbird is ready for the new custom fuel tank. Action Off Road took a Can-Am side-by-side to the next level by installing a new front bumper and winch as well as new windshield and rooftop.